Hit the record button, my love. All right.
It's recording, y'all. Welcome. Hey, everybody. It is, what is today? Oh, it's May 10th. Tomorrow's May 11th. May 10th, 2016. Tonight's call is on events. Everything you need to know, from why do you need to do them? What do I need to take? What do I need to do? Do I share them? What do I need to order? Every single thing you need to know about events we're covering tonight. So Jody has actually typed up this awesome, very thorough sheet of everything that we're covering on events tonight. And so Jody Farmer on the Hollywood Square Row 2, Square 2, on location. You can work your business from anywhere, guys. She's driving in her car. So I don't have any excuses on why you can't work your business, because and Natasha's driving too. I see Natasha driving. So tonight,
oh yeah, girl.
Car, let's go drive around the block and let's do a conference call. Okay,
I love it.
Next week. I'm not going to drive tonight. Okay, so let's see here. We've got, why do events? What's the purpose of them? Well, whether you're doing a small church type of event or a large county or state fair event, you need to know why they can be so helpful to your business. Rule number one on why you should be doing events is to get recruits. That's the most important reason why you're doing these, is to connect with people to be future consultants on your Cincy team. Second would be bookings, to get parties booked. You know, most people think, oh, I need to go sell so much at this event. No, you have it backwards. You should be getting recruits first, bookings second, and forget the sell. That $30 warmer could be a $700 party if you just ask them. So make sure you're approaching it the right way and having recruits first, bookings second. Sales is third. Meet new customers. Get your name and face out there. Build relationships, makes a name for yourself, and exposes the Cincy brand and the opportunity as the business as well. Jody, anything else you can think of why they need to do it at a Cincy event? And
honestly, events, they can be so big. Like you said, don't necessarily focus on the sales. Don't think you have to have a ton of inventory, but focus more on excuse me, creating a name for Cincy and yourself, and get those relationships built so you can book parties and get recruits. Because even though you're talking to somebody today, and they may not seem interested, and this has happened to me personally, so I can speak to the validity of it. Sorry, waving to campers. Howdy, campers. They'll call me like a year later. They'll be like, I had your business card and your sample just sitting here. I met you last year, and something was telling me that I should join, or I was looking for a sign from God, and there was your catalog. So it's hard to measure the success of an event if you're just measuring what you did during those event timeframes based on sales, or even if you add your parties in that you got. The residual income that you get, or residual benefits even on top of that, down the road from people that call you out of the blue to place an order, they decide they want to host a party, or they decide to join your team. That's really how you need to determine if your event was successful. And it may not be something that you can determine right then and there. It might be down the road. So get your name out there, and don't be afraid to talk to people, because that's really why you're there. There's no other way that you're going to meet that many people that quickly.
Right. And here's the thing too, is it may be years before you get a recruit that finally sealed the deal on it. I've gotten several recruits at events, and it has not been immediate. There was one that walked straight up to my booth and said, I want to join. And I was thinking, whoa, what in the heck? This has never happened before. Are you kidding me? But it finally did happen. But again, this was last year, or in my 7th year of Cincy, so it doesn't happen right away, and don't expect it to. So what kind of events? Any kind you can find, do them. Look for the opportunity. There's so many different types of events, you guys. Do not just think of, oh, there's a fair in town or a Christmas bazaar. You've got to think outside the box. So here are a few ideas for you. Craft shows. And she has non-juried, and I'm not sure what that means.
A non-juried event is one that's not being judged on handmade items. juried event means there will be judging going on, and generally you have to be a handmade craft to be even allowed into those types of events.
Okay.
Man, I can't make any comments.
So I've never heard that before. So I'm so glad you told me that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so church bazaars, school events. Here's one that you probably haven't thought of, a gun show. So all those men are shopping. The ladies are coming to the gun show too. That's a really great place to have a Scentsy booth, is a gun show. Bridal shows, county fairs, state fairs, vendor-sponsored events. These are events created by other vendors or other consultants. How about just a ladies' night out, a local festival, or a home show? Any of these can be different types of events. So where do you find them? Well, the first way you can find them is a local paper, online, social media sites on Facebook is huge, or just going to the city's website or where you live and finding out, contact the Chamber of Commerce, see what's going on in the area. Word of mouth, websites like events.com, use Google. Ask other friends. Start a little buddy system with your friend that's a Pampered Chef consultant or It Works girl or Jamberry Nail, whoever they are. Say, hey, anytime you think of an event, let me know, and I'll let you know of any that I come across. And that way you start networking together, okay? Talk to the promoter of events for ideas on other types of events that are available. So, and you could also create like a vendor blender with other party plan consultants to try to everybody bring in their own clientele, and you just kind of, that's what I do at the fall time and Christmas. So everybody has I have all these different vendors, and everybody invites all their own customers. So we just kind of share our customer base. But there's different ways you can do it. Festivals.net is another one that's a really good one to go to. But here's the catch with festivals.net. They want you to pay on festivals.net, but there's a way around it. So you go to festivals.net, you start looking to see what events are coming up in your area, write them down on a piece of paper. Because it's going to say, oh, let me charge your credit card for X amount of dollars so you can see the full details of these events. Bullcorn, you don't need my money. All you need to do is write down the name of the show, the date, and where it's at. Open up another little tab on your Google and go, oh, Strawberry Festival in Houston, Texas, September 23rd, 2016. Type that in Google. It will take you straight to the person's info that is putting the show on. So you just have to do a little bit of investigating. You have to become a detective. You're what could you be called? EBI, the Events Bureau Investigator.
Event Lister is the same way. Eventlister.com will only show you events that are 30 days out. If you want to get events that are listed more than that, you do have to pay, which I did do in the beginning. I no longer do because I have enough, and I haven't been on there in years, but I do know that that's how it was.
Yes. And I highly recommend you working with your sponsor. Listen, there are so many times, and Sherry's on here. I just saw her. She's right there. There's so many times Sherry's right here in Pearland with me where I'm double booked or I can't do an event. Y'all, I call my front line that is in Pearland and say, hey, I've got this event. Do you want it? Because just because you can't do it doesn't mean that someone in your team or your group cannot do this. You're still making money, and you know what? You're helping them out. It's great training, great experience. We threw Sherry to the wolves. Jody Farmer just happened to be in town.
We did.
Threw Sherry to the wolves. She had never done it before. Gave her my merchandise to set up. She did a quick 15, 20-minute spiel and said, go for it. She had no clue, and when she was done, you know what she said, y'all? That was the most fun ever. She loved it. See, read her little chat box. I had so much fun, y'all. And now she loves doing events. So pass them on. If you can't do them, don't just say no. Find somebody in your team or group that can do them. Okay, what, did I skip a page? Oh, moving on. Jojo, hop in anytime you've got, because I've got your wonderful notes. You saved.
And I know I don't have my notes, but I'm just kind of reading off, going off what you're saying.
Perfect. So how much inventory do I need? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, never buy more than you can afford. And I'm going to tell you, I have done events with tons of inventory where I spent $2,000 and expedited it, spent $800 on shipping, and I sold $900. Would I ever do that again? Heck no. And I'm saying heck because I see HE double hockey stick little children in the room. Heck no, I would not. I have done shows with zero inventory. You know how you do it? Who was on the last call when I had you convinced that I was using the body bar and I had switched from liquid soap to the bar soap? How many of y'all convinced that I was using it, right? Never even tried it. Still to this day, I haven't tried it. So it's all in your delivery. The last event I did, I paid $50 for a setup, sold nothing, took a pre-order for a camper warmer, but I made tons of contacts and handed out tons of scent samples. So it is not impossible. It's only impossible if you choose it to be impossible. So general rule of thumb is buy 3 times the amount of product of the cost of the booth. So if your booth fee is $50, take $150 worth of product. This used to be a pretty good formula. However,
Yeah, I think it's changed a bit.
it's changed a bit.
Yeah.
So I would rather take bars and light bulbs than I would have warmers any day. If you're in a place where everybody knows, since if you are who we are in Texas, people have their warmers, people want bars, and they want light bulbs.
Yep. And they do want all of those things. And, when I first started, it was definitely 3 times the amount of your booth. I mean, that was the best way to probably do it. But it's different now that we're growing and Scentsi's larger and people know what it is. You need more bars and bulbs than you probably think that you do. I mean, we always run out of bulbs, no matter how many we bring to an event. And I totally just lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? Not going into debt. Another thing that you can do, and I think this is on there. Yeah, ask for average sales. If the promoter can tell you if it's not a brand new event, they can probably tell you what average sales are, and Scentsy will probably do better than most average other companies that are there. And I'm not saying that because, we all love Scentsy. I'm saying that because we generally sell the most product. If you look around at events, our bags, a lot of times, especially if it's, old lady doilies that are being sold.
Yeah.
So, and talk to other vendors if you have that opportunity to talk to them and say, how is this event? What is the attendance like? What are the slower times? Like, we know one event we do for 3 days. If the weather is nice in April, we're not selling anything.
And you didn't.
And we didn't. We just did it, and we didn't. If there's a Syracuse basketball game going on, I look at what's going on around us too to figure out what kind of day do I think will bring in people. So you can kind of gauge it by that too. So we knew it was going to be nice, so we didn't take as much inventory.
Right.
Because we've done it enough to know that it's going to be nice. It hasn't been nice in months. People aren't going to be out. So those are some other things that you can do is ask around and ask for average sales and average attendance.
Well, and I think you made a really good point of asking the person that's putting the event on about past sales. Listen, anytime you're booking an event, it is very important to ask those questions to the event coordinator. What was your attendance last year? What is the average sales? How many years have you been doing this event? You want to make sure that they're a reputable person that's putting this event on just as much as before you writing that check over to them. So do your homework, invest and find out who these people are that are so willing to take your money.
And that brings up another really good point too, Heather. Years ago, we signed up, I did with another consultant, and we signed up to do an event. It was a scrapbooking event, and we're like, oh, it'll be good. Well, it wasn't good. It was a $500 event, and everybody that came to that event was strictly there to buy scrapbooking supplies, and that was it. So know if there's other vendors that are going to be at that event that are not scrapbooking supplies.
Right.
We need somebody to mute online, Heather.
Okay.
Hey, girls, am I muted?
You're not muted, baby.
Okay, sorry, I just dialed in.
That's okay.
You're fine.
There we go.
Okay.
So if it's a specific event, like the geese are talking,
That's all right.
but if it's a specific event like that scrapbooking, say, are there going to be other vendors there that sell anything other than food and or scrapbooking supplies? Because if they're not, then you may not need a lot of inventory, but you may
Right.
need to bring marketing material, and it may not be worth your cost. Like that table was $500, and a lot of vendors ended up suing this guy because there were no
Well,
other,
yeah.
and there was no marketing. He did no marketing like he promised, so there was nobody there other than scrapbookers, and we took a huge hit. That
Well,
was
and
the
I
only
have to be honest with you guys. My favorite events are the $100 and under tables. Like it's like the $50 tables. Those to me, I have found that are the best ones. Jump in with your feet, get them wet, and just try it. Go for it. If it's $100 and you're like, oh man, crap, that seems to be a lot. Find somebody in your team or another Scentsy sister or brother to split it with you if you have to. And we'll get more further down into splitting stuff in just a second. So you're going to have a variety of items, wax being the main focus. Look at the event location and what type of event it is so you can best determine of what items might be popular. Like, for example, weathered leather is huge down here in Texas. I know that when I do an event, I better have weathered leather, car bars, scent circles, everything in leather because it goes. Whereas maybe up north, it's not going to be as greater as in your area as it is mine. So just know your area and look at the location. If you cannot afford to buy inventory, use the opportunity to take orders, book parties, and sponsor new recruits. Things to have on hand for sure is a variety of bars. Start in the classics collection or wherever you live. You know what you sell the most of. Go back through your order forms and see what your customers have ordered the most of and stock up on those first. Bulbs for sure, and maybe a couple of warmers for demonstration purposes. Maybe have one night light, one that's got an element, one that has a light bulb. So you can show the variety of different types of products, but not necessarily have tons of warmers. If you must, take your testers and put them out like you do at a home party on a cute little plate with a little category sticking up where they can actually smell your testers. That leaves a great segue into, oh, what are these, lip gloss? Well, no, girl, when you join Scentsy, you get all of this for $99 plus some other stuff. These are our testers. Your testers on that table is a great segue into a recruiting conversation. Whereas I never take my testers because I don't have enough bars. But now I'm thinking, crap, I'm missing out on some opportunities. I'm going to put my testers back out. You never know. Okay, what do you focus on? Building relationships, not making a sale. So talk to people. Don't just make a sale. Do not sit back in the back of your booth and wait for people to come to you. Listen, they're not. They might, but you need to be at the front of that booth, standing up and making, when people walk by, I'll say, oh, cute shoes. Where'd you get those? I don't talk anything about Scentsy. I'm complimenting something about them, asking them a question where they have to stop, have a conversation with me and answer me. Oh, I got these sandals at Walmart. You know, girl, I need to go over to that Walmart and get a pair. Which Walmart did you go to? So you're just creating a conversation. That's all you're doing. You're not looking like crazy Scentsy stalker, running up saying, oh, smell this. Have you smelled this? Have you tried this? Do not be that person. They will run far, far away from you, okay? You can offer personal booking specials when they purchase. You cannot make a sign that says a personal special where someone walking by can see it. You can't have it visible. You have to verbally tell them, okay? While they're in your booth. Make sure you collect customer information with every sale. So anytime someone comes to my booth, I have an order form. I'm the one filling it out because 9 times out of the 10, I cannot read their chicken scratch anyway. And I want to be able to make sure I know what their email address is. So it goes a little something like this. Hi, what's your first name, darling? I put the darling because it makes them a little bit more comfortable. Now they feel like they're my friend, okay? You might not be able to do that up in New York. I think if Jody Farmer literally went, what's your name, darling? She might get a few weird looks, okay? So, but they give it to me and your address. Okay, and that's Pearland? Oh, good. 77581 or 4. So now they know I'm kind of from with the area. Oh, what's your phone number, darling? Okay, and your email. I didn't say, can I have your email? I just said, and your email. The way I'm saying it does not make them think twice about giving it to me. If you ask, and may I have your email so I can put you on my mailing list? You're going to get 1 email a month from Cincy that automatically sends it out, and I promise I won't send anything more to you. But no, too much information. Just ask them for it. If they're old school and they don't have an email address, they're going to tell you, no, I don't want to give it to you. So just keep rattling off and just filling out their order form for them. Okay. Be sure they do not have a normal consultant first.
Yeah.
Use your order forms as your golden ticket to collect customer information. Yes. And one of the things I love doing at events is I tell them, and when is your birthday? I don't need your year, girl. Just give me your day and your month. I do a little birthday club every month, and I'll send you a little coupon the month before your birthday month that you can use with me. So now they're just giving me some more personal information. I'm letting them know about a personal special that I offer them as a loyal customer. Be sure to contact that person a few days later and use a drawing box, if allowed, to collect customers' info. So your drawing slips, these are old school. They don't really look like this anymore. I actually make my own. I don't even buy them from the store anymore. But it's got a spot where they can check off whether they're interested in a home party, a basket party, a fundraiser, a opportunity to earn extra money. So you can have a giveaway there. I cannot tell you the truth, but I've always given something away. I usually just use it to collect information. When I have some good sales, yeah, I'll give something away. I do not take checks. No, I only do cash or credit, and my credit is with my Square. That is what I take at booths.
The only time I take a check is if it's a repeat customer that I know personally, and that is the only time. So like maybe once a year. Any other time it's cash or credit. I'm not taking no check from somebody I don't know.
Me either. I rarely even take them outside of events. Add opportunity information and booking information in every bag. So those of you that are doing the LDU program right now with me or Jamie Pilcher, those join brochures that we're having you make right now, that's a great piece of information to put in every person's bag that purchases from you. I made mine on actual little postcards from Vista Print, and you best believe they go in every single person's bag that buys from me.
And make sure everything's labeled too. So,
yes.
And I'll just share what kind of, when I do an event, I split it with one other girl. Somebody's not muted again. Keeps popping up. Do you know who it is, Heather?
I'm looking right now. I don't see. Go ahead.
All right. But so we go into the event because we're splitting everything. We split it 50-50 right down the middle, like from the cost of the booth to the amount of inventory. It doesn't mean that she brings 10 warmers and I bring 10 warmers. If we say we're taking 5,000 in inventory, she brings 2,500 and I bring 2,500. Nothing is labeled until it's sold. That way, if I sell a warmer that she brought, we don't even keep track of who brought what warmer.
Right.
My label goes on that information. I get that contact information on the order form. That person is mine from that point on. So if they join their
And I think she's frozen.
they're mine, you know what I mean?
Perfect.
Am I back?
She's back now. Sometimes she talks like a robot at her events to get other types of people.
I was just saying, don't let anything leave without your label, without information.
That sounds great. Was that really a robot? I'm teasing. I'm teasing. Okay. It's true. I don't label anything of mine either because, like, let's say Sherry needs to come over and borrow some bars. Well, I don't want to waste 6 labels of it being on my stuff. I'll give her the 6 bars. That way she can just put her label on it when I sell it. I always label when I sell. I'm doing it backwards, I know, but throughout the years, too many people have come over and borrowed stuff, and I'm like, dadgum, that was 6 of my labels I just wasted. So I don't label mine either until I sell it. Get your name out there. Hand out samples as people walk by. Try to stand and be approachable at your booth. A sitter lets too many people walk by. That is the truth. Whether you're selling or displaying only, make your booth appealing to the eye. This will draw people to you. Warm a scent that is commonly loved and will draw people your way. So like I know Melissa Gratz, all she warms at every single event is coconut lemongrass. And she has this huge sign that says, now warming coconut lemongrass, and it's permanent. That's all she warms. I started doing blueberry cheesecake after Jody. It brings people in. I never sold blueberry cheesecake so much in my life ever since Jody told me to start using blueberry cheesecake.
Anytime we do an event and I try to put something else in, it doesn't work. We end up pouring it back into the bar and putting blueberry cheesecake in. It's the only scent I've ever had such luck with. I think because it carries so well in a larger space.
Yeah, and Sherry says she does Lush Gardenia. That's another great strong one. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But make sure that you have your booth fun and inviting, and don't overdo it though. And just FYI, if it's an outdoor event, guys, do not pay for electricity. Use your room sprays and spray your tablecloths throughout the day. That's what I do. Don't waste your money. They're not gonna be able to smell it anyway, okay? What to pack? Here are a few things that you might need. I haven't even looked at the chat. I just saw Sherry's pop up. Let me just make sure. Oh, good. No questions. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, I was thinking about getting a square. I know there's a fee. Do you charge the fee or do I pay out of pocket? It's not very much, so I just pay it out of pocket at the end. Yes, I do wash my clothes and my tablecloth in laundry. Yes, yes, yes. Great, Darby. That was a good point. I forgot to mention that. Thank you. Some things you'll need: tables or shelves, tablecloths, and small, simple decorations, a cash box or a bank bag, or an apron. Some people just threw an apron on. A calculator, order forms. Jot a note on the order form about that person, so when you do contact them again, you can add something special about them to the conversation. So as they're walking away, you can jot something down like, grandson's name was Billy, his birthday was April 7th, whatever. So when you talk to her, so did Billy have a good birthday? I was thinking about him on April 7th. She's going to be like, my gosh, you are a fantastic consultant. I'm using her forever. She knows little Billy's birthday is April 7th. It works, trust me.
It does work.
That's the quickest way to get in your customers and have them coming back to you. If you want repeat customers, give them the smallest detail that they've shared about you. Be a note taker. Again, FBI agent. Write it down. Write down your stuff. Samples with your contact info, drawing slips, pins, paper towels or cotton balls to clean out your warmers. I bring a little trash bag for trash on location at my booth because I don't have to walk clear across town to throw something away. Bars to melt, variety of wax and warmer to sell or display. Your bags for sure. Booking bags and join packets. Marketing material you wish to hand out. Extension cords if you need them. Credit card reader if you have one. Zip ties and scissors always come in handy. Light bulbs, room spray to spruce it up a bit. Personal labels, nothing leaves your hand without your contact information on it. A chair to sit in, but nothing, don't bring the recliner, just bring a little something to sit in. And your calendar, so you can book parties on the spot. If you're bringing a diffuser, bring a water bottle. So you already have water to fill up your diffuser. What else do I bring just off the top of my head?
No, I was trying to think if there's anything I missed on that list.
Just the water.
The oil. You're going to put oil in it. You know, just make
I
sure you have a variety.
usually bring my samples. Like I have a little sample section. So when they buy something, I always ask them, hey, have you tried our laundry stuff yet? So that's the sample I usually give out at the end, you know, when I'm checking them out or whatever. I can't think of anything else. If I think of something, we'll add it to the list. I'm sharing an event with someone else. How do I split it? This is something you need to have figured out ahead of time before you even commit with the other person and agree to doing it with them. These are just tips, so do what's best for you. Jody has shared a lot of events in the past with people, so she has really become a pro at this. I have shared a few, not many, just a handful, and again, we have split everything down the middle as well. So you'll hear many different views on how to split events. Jody likes to keep it as simple as possible, and so the easiest is to do a 50-50 split. I agree, that's how we do it as well. You and your partner split everything in half from the cost of the booth to the inventory. When you do this, it does not matter who brings what necessarily. What matters is that you both have the same dollar value invested in products. So if you want $5,000, let's say, in inventory, man, I do, one day, then you both need to bring $2,500 worth of inventory. Maybe that means that you bring that amount in bars and she brings that amount in warmers. At the end of the event, you split the money and the leftover inventory evenly. If there's more than two of you, do a percentage split. So each are responsible for a third of the cost of the inventory and a third of the cost of the booth. And again, split it at the end would be a third of the cash and the inventory. So nothing is labeled until the sale is made. That way the person selling it will put their label on it. So whoever sells it, they put it on there and the customers contact them for future orders. If you're trying to track who brought what, this takes away from the experience, causing you to do even more work. So when your dollar value is the same, who brought what no longer matters. So if you're checking someone out and you have 4 people doing a booth and you need to write down that the Believe warmer is Jody's, the Dark Harbor Bar is Heather's, the Pink Haze is Erica. Y'all, the customers do not want to hear this. Just write it down and figure out later if you're that anal about it. But just it's easier to come in with the same dollar amount, to be honest with you. And you can plan on who's buying what, so it'll be equal.
Yeah.
The price of the inventory is broken out to the full value. So for every 6-pack of wax that we put in, it says $30, $5 a bar, not $25, okay? So when doing a large event, offer training to your teams. This is a great experience for them, and it gets their name out there as well. Help them book parties and hand out info to new people. In return, it will help you as well. I highly suggest creating an event on Facebook where your schedule is at. Anytime you're going to be at an event, you create an event on Facebook as well. It gets more attention. And as you see on Facebook, you'll start seeing how many friends have popped up and, oh, Susie's going to a barbecue festival and April's going to this. It's because people, that will pop up on the feed more. So be smart and work Facebook in the manner that you can. So if you're doing an event, create one on your personal page so they know where you're going to be, number one. And number two, if you have a team Facebook page, post it as an event on there as a training opportunity. I started doing that where people could pop up in the Pearland area so they'll know my schedule if I have a home party or an event where it's a great training opportunity. Anybody's welcome to come shadow and hang out if they just want to learn on location. Events are a great way to make contact with many new people. Not all events are huge money makers, and that's okay. If you focus on meeting new people and building relationships, getting contacts, getting their information, booking parties, people will talk to you about joining, about hosting, and they'll want to know more because you made it very comfortable for them and it wasn't just about making the sale. So, and you will have a successful event. A booth should be neat and tidy the more appealing the space, the more people it will draw in. So stand back, take a look at it, and view it as a customer would walking by. What gets their attention? How should things be grouped? Is it, all the men's stuff in one area maybe, or all the women's and all the kids in another? I noticed Jamie had said one day that she had all the buddies like in a little trunk at the floor, and it was right at the outside of the booth. Well, that drew a lot of kids in, and it was a strategic way to place kid stuff as they were walking by because it got their attention. So think of it, in the grocery store aisle, how they have the end cap and all the stuff before we're checking out. They strategically place that stuff so we buy it. Kind of do your booth the same way and lay it out wherever you're going to be standing to fill out order forms. That's where you have your extra light bulbs or your add-on or your upsell, or have a night light close by where you can say, hey, do you need to add on some extra bulbs? Or did you want to do a scent circle and your favorite fragrance on here, or add on a night light for $10? So your little closing section, if you will, of your Scentsy booth. That way you won't forget what to ask them. Okay, it's a great way to have your bags and your little checkout, your little samples, everything all together at the end where you're doing order forms. How much money do you think is okay to spend on event space? Well, I have $1,000. I have spent $25. So it's totally up to you, but you better do your homework on anything. I would say anything over $100 or so, do some check-in and just make sure it's legit.
And here's my thought on that. I'm going to give you two drastic differences. I do the New York State Fair. By the time we're done with, the insurance and everything, it's about $5,000 for 12 days. It's a lot of money, but we make a lot of money. We make a lot of contacts. It's a great event. 2 weeks after that, I do an event in the middle of nowhere, literally no cell service, a $70 table, and I sell, it's a day and a half, and I sell like $1,500 at that. So I think when you're trying to determine whether or not it's worth the money, A, it's what you can afford, B, it's what research you've done. I know the New York State Fair brings in approximately 1 million people, so I know that the cost of that's going to be higher. So we have to look at many different avenues or different aspects of it to figure out whether or not it's worth it.
Would I pay $500 for a church event? No.
No. 25, 35. I do a lot of school events that are $30.
How many days is it? You have to ask yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jody said, that one she does for it's a lot of days. You get your money's worth. I'm doing a rodeo that's like 12 days long. It's $580, but it's 12 days.
I wish mine was 580.
Mine's 12 days stuff, but I'm not worried about it. I'm going to take orders.
And the other thing I wanted to backtrack a little bit, somebody asked about Square. So with Square, I love Square. I really, really do. I use it for more than just my business, like garage sales and stuff. It's 2.75% is the fee that is charged for every swipe. If you have to type in the number for some reason, it's 3.25% for every transaction. However, at the end of the year, you just log into your Square account and you print off the fees. Boom, you're done. It's a total write-off. Secondly, with my Square, you can build your inventory into it. So like I put all of our combined and saves in there. I put, bars, 1 bar, 3 bars, 6 bars, light bulbs, everything's in there. So I no longer have to write down receipts other than the customer's information. That's all I have to do. I don't have to say what they bought, what the total was, because it's all in my Square now. So it saves me a ton of time at checkout. So if you don't have Square, it might be a good idea to to look into it and play around with building that so you can track your inventory.
And you just reminded me of something on order forms. So, and this goes to show you how everybody does it different. There's no right way or wrong way. Once I collect all the customer's info, I write down, because a lot of times, if I don't have what they want, I'll say, oh, I can ship it to you. So on my receipt, I will write has all on the bottom of their order form, just so I know when I come back home and 3 days later, I'm not going to pick all this crap up and look at this right now. I'll come home and I'll see that Carrie has everything and I don't need to order. I'll circle it and write ship or write order next to the certain product that I need and write has next to everything else. I'm OCD when it comes like that because I've come home way too many times and said, crap, did they take that or did they not? So I just mentally write has all on the bottom because I need to know they have it all because I will forget. Like I don't remember stuff. So I do write that down. And when people come to your booth, make sure they know. I'll say, hey girl, do you ever shop at Costco or Sam's? Well, they all relate to that. Or is it, what's one up north? Is it Fred Meyer's or what is it up there?
Excuse me.
Do you have Costco and Sam's up there, Jody?
Yeah, with BJ's and
Oh,
Sam's.
BJ's, that's what it's called. So you ask them, say, hey, are y'all familiar with, do you ever shop at BJ's? Say, well, I work the same way. Anytime you come and buy wholesale or in bulk, let you know that if you spend $200, I'm going to give you the free and the half price at events. There are customers of mine that come to specific events to buy in bulk just because I'm there now. One lady, it was like 380 last year. This year it was 640. And because she wanted the diffusers half off. That's the only reason why she spent that much. And I gave her free and half price right off my booth table. I had to ship her an oil because I didn't have it, but it all worked out. I ended up getting more in sales because she wanted to buy in bulk. She was a realtor. So how much would you charge for direct shipping? It would be minimum $8. Or you can, I think if it weighs less than how many ounces, it's $5 shipping.
It's not, I don't know. I usually either, depending on if they say something, if I charge them the full amount, if they say something else, I'll split it with you.
Yeah. And I've also paid it for customers. I've had it come here, like the oil. I didn't charge her anything. I shipped it with the party and repackaged it in a padded envelope, and it's $2 to mail it, and I just paid for it. If it's not a warmer, I will repackage it up and remail it, and it's a tax write-off for me. If it's a warmer, heck no. I'll pay the money for Scentsy or split it with them and let Scentsy pay for it because you will not mail it cheaper than $8. I'll promise you that.
No, you won't. I made the mistake saying I'll mail a warmer one time. It was $13 for one warmer. I said, oh my God.
When I was doing the custom warmers, when those chiefs ordered them in Hawaii, $30-something for shipping for one warmer. Never, ever again. It's like $20-something. Never again in my whole life. I learned my lesson. I will never, ever mail warmers ever again.
I will never, ever go shopping in Texas and buy everything that I find and then go to a store and mail it home because I spent more in the mail, didn't I, Heather, than I did on my
because I buy everything on sale.
Mm-hmm. Heather took me shopping. Cost me a child to send it home. I just sell one.
Yeah, it's for real. It's expensive.
I know.
Really, $8 shipping. It's not bad compared to the cost when you try to mail it yourself.
Yeah.
Like heck, $8 is nothing. Because if Scentsy really footed that bill to me, I'd be paying a lot more than $8 a warmer. I'll tell you that, or per order. That's insane. That's super cheap. Okay, so any other questions? We've got about 15 minutes for questions. What's the one dying question? Oh, y'all can unmute to ask. It'll be faster than time to type if y'all want. Just unmute yourself.
Hi, I have a question.
Is that Casey?
Hi.
Hey, Diane.
I have been to Gun and Knife shows, and I've seen maybe there are some where I guess who's over it will let as many consultants sell as they want, and you will have little small booths that only have a few things, don't get any sales because they have the real big ones and they have everything like a store. Do you recommend still getting a booth there and paying the $50 or just bypassing it? Because I've seen it and wanted to do it, and when I walked in one, I mean, it was just the one big booth had, freaking had everything, where the other ones, they didn't even get anybody coming to them or, so I was wondering if it's still worth it.
More than one Scentsy booth, Casey?
Yes.
I think that it depends on the size of the event. I did an event where it was several miles, so it was okay with me and another person being there. But if it's in the same building, it's not worth it to me to have two Scentsy consultants. So that's usually the first question I ask a promoter is, are there other consultants there? Because if there are, that's something you really need to consider. And is it worth your money for that risk?
Well, and I'll tell you, the last event that I did, and I do this event every year, it's a Toys for Tot event. It's a 2-day event. And when I went there, the girl had booked, and I've done it for years. I was the only consultant. This past year that I did it, she had 2 of us there, and 2 Avon people were there. And I'm going to tell you, the Avon lady was pissed, throwing a fit, verbally saying how ridiculous it was. And guess what I did? I walked over, I introduced myself and said, can I help you set up? I know you got here a little bit late. Anything that I have that you need, we can swap. Let me know. We'll work together. We're not going to work against each other. By me doing that, the event coordinator saw my behavior versus the Avon people, walked up to me and said, Heather, do you ever do the Pasadena County Fair? She goes, I know other consultants do it, but I had a problem with them last year. I'd like to offer it to you next year as the Cincy rep. So now, not only did I gain a new event that I've never done before, I also got a recruit at that event. So it just goes to show you, like, if you do see another Cincy consultant there, show them Cincy spirit. Don't get all huffy, puffy, pissed. There's nothing you're going to do about it. You can either make your company look bad, or you can rise above it and show how gracious you are and how helpful you are and why people should want to join your team, not run away from your team.
Right. But if you have the opportunity to find out beforehand if there's going to be
should.
one there, you should find it out.
Yeah.
But if not, and you're there with 2, like I paid for this event one time. It was like, what was Harborfest? $550? And then I found out that there was another consultant there. I was like, well,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? And
I
mean,
ended up not coming back the third. It was 3 days. I ended up not coming back on Sunday because I'd already sold $1,000 and gotten a recruit. And I told her, I said, girl, I'm not coming tomorrow. Let you take everything from tomorrow. I don't even need to come back. I didn't let the other consultant even take the 3rd day. I didn't even come back.
Yeah, but if you are finding yourself in a situation like what Heather's talking about, don't be
B.
Shh, my husband's jumping in. Don't be an a-hole.
Yeah. You just call
What
it
it
out.
is. We're not here to compete with each other. We are here. Yeah, just be gracious and
Yep.
put on your happy
A lot
face
of
and go about your
events will have
business.
repeat consultants. Like Jody's in the state fair, they call repeat consultants. Once you build that relationship with these promoters, they only want you back. Like, I'm very helpful at the events that I do and help them do other things and try to get people in their event just as much as I'm trying to get people to my booth, because I'm trying to build that relationship for them, trying to show them that I care about their event and their business. So how do I find events before other consultants? Every time I've tried to register for one, they already have a consultant. So my answer to you would be probably try a smaller scale event. You're probably finding these huge, large events where these consultants have been established, like me, for 3 to 5 years. My promoters right now, I know if any Cincy consultant called to try to get in, every show that I'm a regular on is going to tell you, no, our consultant is Heather Gorsuch. And that's just the way it is. But all of these small events that you can find at the churches, like Jody was saying, and all of these smaller venues, to start small and Google and find Chamber of Commerce, that is where you need to start first. So the website's festivals.net. And Jody, what was yours?
I had events.com, and then there was eventlister.com, and then your local Chamber of Commerce. And I don't know if it's like this in other states, but in New York, during the spring and summer, they put flyers in local businesses. It's almost like a calendar of events for the month.
Yeah, and on Facebook, if you go to, like, if I was to type City of Pearland on Facebook right now, I like my city page. They have a calendar of events for almost every city on Facebook now. They have a Facebook account for the city. So you definitely need to be following that. If Casey, if you live on base, the command events, the command functions, the bulletin boards around base. In San Diego, I would put those up like crazy at the commissary and at the exchange. I would put my little business card with attached scent samples, or take one for info. Any place that you can leave or find out about events. Visit the schools on base and see if they have any small events.
Heather?
You're moving to where there's not a base? That's probably good too, though. I'm where no base is at.
Heather, I was going to say, like, we're in a small area here, and, I mean, I'm 40 minutes from Virginia, and a lot of my events are there. But I was going to tell Lindsay, I'm not sure. I think I don't know exactly where she's at, but what I have found too, like if you can't find any events close to you or small events, you can actually call a couple other consultants and get a place and start do your own thing. We've done that here quite a bit. Like 4 or 5 of us will get together and have like a small event with just 4 or 5 consultants in our library basement, or, at the bank in the community room where they don't charge a fee to have it. And that's how you can kind of get yourself out there. And you can find that a lot of times these other consultants, whether it be Paper Chef or LuLaRoe or whatever, they will then, in their area, they'll get you to come there. So that kind of gets you out.
Yeah. Move outside your circle for sure. Like get outside of your town. I mean, you're not gonna find everything in your town. Before, I would drive 2.5 hours when I lived in California. I was driving 2.5 hours to do parties. Listen, when you're trying to make your business a success, there is not an option no, period.
Yeah. I drove
if you say
from
no,
New York to Maine.
you're giving it to someone else.
And there's this new thing here in this area that they're starting, and I was supposed to go to one actually the other week, but I had bronchitis and couldn't talk, so I had to cancel. But they're having these events now called Quarter Mania events. I don't know if you guys have heard of them yet or if they're in your area. So basically what it is they invite 12 different consultants, and you each have to donate 4 prizes, and basically the first prize is valued $12 to $25. Then it's like 25 to 40, 50 to 75, and then 75 or over. So you're donating these 4 items, and you're really not donating them, but you have to bring 4 items in those price ranges. And you sell tickets. Each consultant has tickets to sell beforehand, and the ticket is a paddle auction. And each consultant will bring a roll of quarters or a couple rolls of quarters. And the people that you invite, they buy the ticket, they get their paddle, and it's an auction. And you might donate a $12 item that you might end up getting $50 for because people are bidding quarters on these items. The last one that they had, 150 people were there. And the one girl said that she sat down and like the stuff that she took for her 4 items was like $125. She ended up making $400. She got 2 parties booked and 2 recruits.
Now you have to check because that's illegal in a lot of states.
Well, evidently in Virginia it's not, because they're having them over there. They kind of went from like the original, vendor style setup event, because people are, we're getting bummed out on those that they're starting this.
Virginia is a Commonwealth state, so it might be a little bit different. Jody, what were you going to say?
I do believe that's against compliance.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're making a profit off of that item more than what it's supposed to be sold for.
Or the value of what it's worth, what you're selling it for.
Yep, I don't think that's legal.
Okay.
Bubble, because there sounds like a great way to get out there and do an event, but I would double check compliance or the policies on it. Are you checking it now, Heather?
I'm trying to pull it up right now.
Yeah, I don't have the availability to do that, or I would.
Okay, I'm pulling it. But Virginia it's a Commonwealth state, so a lot of different stuff applies there than what does in other states. So
well, let me tell you, like for the New York State Fair, I can't do a drawing basket with drawing slips unless I go through the New York State gaming board. That's how tight the rules are here.
Well, I know that this past weekend, the girl that I was going to do it with, she already had Cincy, so she asked me to bring Velada. So I'm just curious. I might just message that other girl just to ask her. Act like I don't know, about it, and just ask her, because I don't know who she is. I don't know, what downline she's in or anything, but they've been doing them over here for like the last 6 months, monthly.
I haven't checked on it in a while for that because it hasn't come up within my team.
It hasn't come up at all until
but I do remember in the past we were not allowed to do them, so we just need to check since they revised them this last time if it's still in there.
Yeah, they may have taken it out. Who knows? I just remember the old way. It said something about considered gambling and all that. Remember?
Yep. And making a profit off of it.
Right.
You can't do that.
Okay. Any other, Jody? Will you answer more questions while I'm looking this up real quick?
Yep.
Hey, Jody.
Yeah.
I called Cincy about, 6-8 months ago about doing the quarter auctions, and they said that we're not allowed. It is against compliance.
Yeah. I didn't think that it changed, but I never want to say I'm 100% without looking it up.
Well,
So
me either. I don't, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
It's Tabitha.
Hi, Tabitha.
Just so you know, I came in at the time when Heather was talking about something about $50 tables and $100 tables. Can you kind of elaborate just a short bit on that so I can figure that out?
I'm
I can't-
not sure what she was saying. It might have been to the fact of, how much do you pay? How much is too much to pay for a table? And basically,
Was that it, or what was on top of the table, like how you set up?
oh, that I'm
That's
not
what I was
sure.
wondering.
We recorded it. If maybe.
Okay.
So I think
I
the
don't
$50,
wanna answer-
$100, I think we were just talking about the booths,
Okay.
like the booth fee. I think, I don't even remember yet.
I'll just replay it. I'll replay it later.
I don't want to answer your question wrong.
Yes, the fee. See, Sherry's paying attention. She's a school teacher. She knows. We listen
It's
to
not the
Sherry.
fees. Yeah, I think what we were talking about was how much is too much to pay for a table, and what we were saying was,
before that. It was before that.
oh, okay,
So
Yeah.
around here, the booths are like super expensive, like crazy expensive for like a 10 by 10 usually, unless
Mhm.
there's like a no traffic zone. And luckily I've gotten in with a vendor group. So pretty much what like I do is, I mean, it's like hit or miss, but at least if I get a few leads, then that's a win for me. I may not cover my table all the time, even though it's $35. But if I get a few leads, and I've also gotten other vendors to book parties with me, but there's a huge festival around here, but it's like $350 to get in, and it's 4 days. So I'm kind of like leery because I know that not many people around here know about Scentsy, and I don't know if it's worth the money.
in my opinion, if you can afford it, I would do it. I started doing events right out of the gate, even, and we went into the hole a little bit because I wasn't turning a huge profit yet, but I think that that's what helped get my name out there because nobody knew what Scentsy was back in 2008 on the East Coast. So for me, events are what built my foundation. So if it's something that you can afford to do, my suggestion is to go for it.
All right,
You're not going to find out unless you do it, and you can't fairly judge a show or an event by its success unless you do it for 3 years in a row. Because remember on the beginning of the call, I talked about the residual success, not necessarily the income, but how successful the event is will really be determined, throughout that year with online sales, parties, hostesses, or sales and recruits. So my advice is go for it.
All right. Thank you.
You're
I
very
got
welcome.
another question. When you guys are at events, I know not many of you are like southern down here where I am. I know it's really hot here, and a lot of events here, like flea markets and stuff, are outside, but they're covered, but it's still outside. How do you keep your bars from not melting?
So my event that I do in August for 12 days is outside. We don't really do anything to prevent it other than have fans. And we don't generally have a problem. The bars that melt the most or the ones that sweat the most are the ones that have citrus oils in them. There are some people who bring small coolers with ice packs in them. And I do know a couple of people who have bought small chest freezers, but they do event after event after event. So for me, we just keep fans in our booth. We don't really have a problem with it.
I had to heat in my car one time where they were melting literally on my table. And I just, my car just happened to be parked right near my booth, behind my booth. And I had my car running and 2 tubs of bars were in my car all day running in the AC because they were melting like crazy.
I did an event and it was outdoors when I first started. We didn't have any power. And it was nice because it was just warm enough where my bars would melt inside the warmer, just enough to throw a set. And the rest of them I did keep in a cooler.
I know my director, Annalise, she says when she goes live at that event, she says that she just rotates them. So that way, whatever's in the sun isn't always in the sun. It's under the tent too.
Yeah, I keep moving mine throughout the day. Was the sun shifts? But that one day, it didn't matter. It was so hot that they were still just melting. But I will shift mine. So they're not in the direct sunlight. But I will probably bring coolers. If I personally don't even like doing them outdoors anymore if it's in the hot summer in Texas, because it's ridiculous hot down here. Like, it was 90 degrees today and I thought I was dying.
It was hot today. It was really muggy.
Yeah, it was. It was hot and yuck.
If you lay them flat and you let your customers know, like if they're soft, they'll re-solidify as long as they keep them, if they flat, they won't leak out of the container.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, you guys.
You're welcome. Anybody else? You
Welcome.
can either ask
All right,
me
let's call it a
questions
night, Heather. We are past.
chat. Anybody else?
No, thank you so much. I joined late, but I can't wait to go back and listen to the whole thing.
Well, good. Okay, so let's get some suggestions. What would y'all like to hear next week?
Well, maybe not next week. It might be the week after.
Oh yeah, let me check my calendar right now while I have it. Good thinking, Jody. I'm glad I told you about my meeting.
How about fundraisers? I'd be interested in hearing about those.
Okay, so it's going to be on.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I'm
good
down
for
for that.
next Tuesday, Jody. Okay,
What's that?
what did y'all say? Fundraisers and what?
Tuesday the 17th?
Yes.
Okay.
Fundraisers and what else?
I think that was all that they said was fundraisers.
Oh, everybody, fundraiser.
Got to motivate your team. Sherry, you train us on that.
Okay, I gotta roll out. I'll talk to you guys later.
Oh, okay, hold on. She's got a question over here. All right, bye, darling.
Goodbye.
Did you have a question? Oh, I can't hear her. Okay, now I can try talking now, Jocelyn. Oh, recruiting. Okay, donation baskets, Allison. We were just talking about that before I got on the phone. And I very rarely do a lot of donation baskets. I don't get much in return. So be very cautious, be smart about what you're giving away on donations. I did it forever. I gave away a lot and it never pans out for me. I don't know if other people have better turnouts, but no, I have not had that great of success. So I wrote it down on our list: donation baskets, recruiting, and fundraisers. So next week we're going to make it on fundraising. No, we're not doing a Zoom after tonight. I'm so exhausted. I have got so much work to do. I'm up to my ears.
Hey, thank you.
On flea markets, Jody, how many days can you do total?
Well, flea markets is different than an event, and most events are 24 days.
A flea market's permanent. An event is a temporary setup, right?
Yeah. So I have to look that back up again because, again, it's changed numerous times over the years.
I
don't want
it right now.
Without checking again.
So fairs and shows, you may promote Scentsi's opportunity and collect orders with a promotional display. You may not conduct cash and carry sales unless the fair or show is taking place at a temporary event. So if it was a flea market, that's not temporary because it's every week or every other week or whatever. That does not make it a temporary event. If you have any questions regarding whether a fair or show would be considered a temporary event, email compliance@scentsy.com prior to selling cash and carry at that event. When you conduct cash and carry sales at a temporary event, your booth and materials may represent only one brand. Your booth must be attended by a current Scentsy consultant in good standing at all times. Scentsy does not limit the number of booths allowed. You may not enter into contracts for overlapping events or shows. Cincy will not be made a party to contract between you and an event coordinator, nor will Cincy be liable for any disputes that arise between you and an event coordinator or between you and another consultant at the event. And you may build up inventory for a temporary event as long as you can provide Cincy with documentation of the event upon request. Please see Chapter 4, Section 1. And then retail locations, you may promote Cincy's opportunity and collect orders with a promotional display. You may not offer Cincy products for sale on a cash and carry basis in any retail location. If you have any questions regarding what is considered a retail location, email compliance@cincy.com prior to selling or recruiting at that location.
Awesome sauce.
That's it. Okay, guys. Here's another question. Do you have to break down your spot every day? No, that brings up a really good point, Pam. So a lot of people will bring tablecloths to cover with clothespins or the thin plastic tablecloths that you can lay on top and clip onto things. That's a great way to keep things covered if you're leaving it overnight. When do you pre-set up the day before? What all do you set up at that time? So you need to check up with your coordinator, find out when your setup times are, and then work that with your schedule. I set up and leave it up in my events that I normally do and just keep it covered or sealed off. And then for flea markets, if flea market is a permanent event, so you need to check your guidelines. I know a lot of people do that, and they need to check with the compliance to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing there. Do you all do the malls to recruit? Has it helped? No, I don't go to the malls.
Nope, me neither. All right, we are about 10 minutes past time, Heather. I know you got stuff to do, and I got to tuck a little one on. So.
All right, guys, perfect. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and we will be in touch soon. We'll talk to you next Tuesday night on fundraisers. So get ready to have all the information you need about fundraising. Have a great night, everybody. Bye, everybody.